be on one page with the whole council part of it, which was the biggest focus part of it. We really can't move forward all the way until we establish that. And that's kind of holding up progress. Really what we need to do. So at this point, we just need to figure out, you know, council-wide. Like I said, I like the number 7. I think 7 is a good number. You know, if we got 5. Like I say, I figured 5 generations. You got 2 extras. That's, you know, at least a representative for each generation, and 2 more. However you want to do it. You know, and make it 7 so that won't never be a tie. It should never be a tie. Should never be one. You know what I'm saying? It might be a situation where the tie is broken, but it still don't feel easy. It don't feel good throughout the county. Then we can still, as y'all say, then we can go to the masses with it, because it really wasn't no clear situation. If it just ain't clear, even though we might go 4-3 in favor of or against, and we feel some kind of way about it, then we can go to the masses. But it need to at least be 7, that way we won't always have that situation. Because if you go 6 or 4, yeah, it ain't right.
And can we finally put these people in their right dance groups? I'm just saying.
Some people, how you gonna put some of these people in their dance groups?
Because I would have some representatives for the one that I was in. Because I mean, it's just ludicrous, man. I mean, because right now, some of these, we don't know who these people in the group are. Because like I said, you got 9 sitting in 911. We got none sitting in the crowd, please. But you know, this might be some sitting in opposition. I know some little boy told me one time that they were damn opposition. I never seen them niggas cut a step before. You dig what I'm saying?
It was just 6 of y'all though, man.
But they had opposition.
Or was it 8?
It started out as about 6 or 7, but the real core, me, Thomas, Derek, and Gary, and then Ron came along, and put in a few people after that. The core obsession was 4.
Tommy just never damn job.
What's up, bro?
Thomas.
Thomas nicknamed Dirk. He said Dirk.
Not good.
Yeah, because we need that so everybody know who's in what group. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he in FDC, but if some more hip partner show up, I won't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
So next week.
Do we need next week?
I think everybody here needs to write down their own stuff to bring. You know, to figure out, you know, the stuff y'all want to see, the stuff y'all think the council should be about that's missing, the things that'll keep safety mechanisms in place so people are not being tyrants and gods and everything else. Make sure think about what it would take to keep that kind of stuff from happening. What's up?
When I get back on the Yeek Facebook page that y'all started, I was kicked off without just cause. For real, you know what I mean? I was kicked off the Facebook Yeek page without just cause.
There you go.
I never even posted on there except one time, but to compliment people. And I've been kicked off.
Wait another week before we actually talk about the council stuff, before we brought all that up. But
Kicked off.
Can they be generated?
Ethan, I don't know why you acting like me and you did not talk about these things, but I have no problem with handling it.
I know we talked about it, but I never got a good reason like why I was kicked off.
Make it plain.
2-hour conversation. Make it plain. You really don't know. Like this? Not like this.
That's personal.
Yeah, we already. It don't matter.
Wait a minute. We are family, man.
That can't be personal, cause I never had no personal issue with
we
this
got
man.
cameras rolling. We got everybody here. I'm just.
Oh, okay. Since you want like that.
It can't be personal.
Basically, when you decided you wanted to do your own documentary, on the business side, all of the work that I did, I had to now put a lock around it so that all the gas I spent, all the software money I spent, all of the schooling that I paid for out of my pocket, I had to safeguard my investment. So if you decide, I'm pointing to you right now.
For me?
Listen to me. Okay, just listen. So, in my understanding, you are with Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid was doing his own documentary. Me and Kool-Aid had words, and they ended up with me and him going separate directions. Okay. So, because you and Kool-Aid are loyal to each other and y'all work together with each other, then my common sense says, hey, Kool-Aid and his crew can't have their hands in my stuff.
What's hands though? That ain't fostering unity though, is it? And fellowship.
At that point,
Fellowship ain't got nothing to do with my pocket. He wasn't at the level.
It ain't now. This is a different situation now. But at that point.
At that point, not now.
But hold on. How the last conversation we had, I told you I was getting ready to walk in the barbershop and cut some hair. I said I would call you back. We were talking about our differences and whatever. We were talking about working together, figuring out a way to work together. By the time I finished cutting hair, I get a call like, hey, can you get on the Yeek page? I don't know what you mean, but I'm kicked off the Yeek page. So I went on the Yeek page, so I'll see if I can get on it. I was off. So from my understanding, our last conversation, we was trying to work things out. Next thing you know, I'm off the page. So you're saying that Kool-Aid broke off, started his own documentary and all that. We were trying to figure out a way to work together, I thought. But the next thing you know, we're kicked off.
Well, I'll put it like this. The big difference between the way Kool-Aid wanted to do things in the way.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about all of that, but I'm just saying. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So basically, we're at a place where you asking me a question, and I can't answer this question without bringing out what you don't want me to bring out. So do you want me to answer this question?
I want to know why. Yes.
Okay. So when we had the situation with me and Mel sending out Yeek invites for upcoming Yeek events that I don't know anything about, and people who I've been talking to, like when I go on YouTube, and everybody who certain people, I have a demographic, and I contact them and I invite them to the page. So in inviting them to the page, we grow a relationship. So these people contact me and they saying, Kane, I feel some kind of way about people contacting me a certain kind of way, and you don't know nothing about it. So there are two things that are happening. Number one, my brand is getting tarnished by something I don't have no control over. Whatever Mel decides to do, you know, with Mel's time, that's cool. But if I'm contacting people and they're loyal to me, what they're going to do is come and tell me stuff that you don't know they're telling me. So long story short, by the time you got off the phone, I was getting other information. And at that time, I made a judgment call for my business. See, I think this is where the lines were getting blurred. When I go into me and my wife's account, and I pull out money to pay for the stuff that I don't ask money for. This stuff didn't come out my ass. It was paid for. And the schooling that it takes to do those videos, it was paid for. So at what point do you safeguard your investment? At what point do you make a business decision? My business decisions were taken as personal decisions. But at the end of the day, money gets spent. And people who I have gone to, what does Craig has said? I go and fellowship with them people. You know what I'm saying? I go and hang. I hang with me and Mike, have chicken and watch movies. This is part of creating a bond. Everybody in here that has some bond building with me, because I know that's the way it has to happen. So when that bond begins to get torn apart by someone who doesn't understand the bond, then I react in a natural manner that says something got to be cut off, or everything that I've worked for is going down the drain. And so the decisions that me and you could not come to was causing, number one, the energy on the page was down. All of the things that were going on behind the scenes that were true, maybe not true, or misunderstood, all that stuff, at some point, a healing process has to happen. So I had to put a tourniquet on my situation. I had to heal some situations, and that caused me to cut off some things for that to heal. Now, in my opinion, it worked because we heal. Somehow we managed to be here with some process or some opportunity to heal some stuff.
But the people kicked off right here, so how did that work?
I just told
With respect to what you're saying, though, the people you kicked off still got here. So you but you're kicking them off.
That's what he's saying.
You may not agree that didn't do it, but when I was able to flush my spirit and my mind from all the confusion we had, I was able to hear from God that we needed a situation that I wasn't in control of. that we needed a situation that everybody is in control. Everybody. So it ain't me on my knees wondering if I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
I get to come to people I respect, my peers, and they get to tell me, you wrong, Kane.
We hold each other.
That's why you here. That's how you got here. And that's how they emailed me now. Because I realized that y'all need to make these decisions. I shouldn't be doing a documentary and trying to do Yeek Day, Yeek Fest. That's a cultural thing. That's all of our stuff. That makes it look like I got control over everything. And trust me, anybody who has led don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. Nobody wants to do that. Anybody who's got time in that game don't want to leave. They want somebody else to. That's why I'm down here. I ain't going to be the chairman on no council. I'm going to be sitting in a chair on that council. But I ain't being the boss. Somebody else going to get their ass whooped like my ass just got whooped. Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of people don't know me, but I'm Mel, and in my defense, I want to speak on that whole situation because out to me from the Yeek page who shall remain nameless because I told them that I would keep that to myself. They did not like the way certain things were being handled according to how I was doing it, how Kane was doing it, how Kool-Aid was doing it, and who else was involved. So my thing was, the same thing that we're doing now is what I tried to do. And in my defense, I was called a liar, but I did not lie about who I reached out to or how I did it. Now, whoever got their opinions of how I did it, that's your opinion. But I know I called everybody first. I wasn't trying to go behind nobody's back because if that was the case, you would not have been at the meeting either. Now, people were saying that I was trying to piggyback off of resources. I just want to say this in defense of myself. I got 5,000 friends on Facebook. If I wanted to piggyback off of anybody's resources, 382 of those people that are on the Yeek page are already my friends, so I could have reached out to them myself. So when people call me a liar, I left the page because I was called a liar. I didn't feel like I was being a liar. I tried to unite where people felt like, oh, Kane is a control freak, Kool-Aid need to be doing this. I really tried to bring us all together to get everybody's opinion, and what I was told that certain people's opinion did not matter. I felt like the so-called groupies of the Yeek era matter. I felt like the DJs matter. I felt like the dancers matter. I felt like spectators that just saw it and wanted to know what it was really about matter. And I wanted to get the people's opinion outside of that. That was why I called the meeting. I didn't call the meeting to step on toes and say, we doing this, we doing that. I didn't do that. And I also reached out to try to find dancers who wanted to dance. I wasn't trying to step on Kelvin Kane's toes. I wasn't trying to step on Kool-Aid's toes, crowd pleasers toes. No, I was a part of the crowd pleasers. But I also branched out and I freestyled a lot. I ended up being a choreographer. I have my own dance company. I wasn't trying to piggyback off of nothing. I danced and did choreography with Divine Stevens for 13 years. It was up and down, but I still did. And I can say I danced with 90% of the OGs that were in the Yeek culture, from Chris Chapman, I can say Anthony Francis now, even though it was just labbing in the lab, but people kept saying, who is Mel, who is Mel, who is Mel? I have a resume of my own, from Outkast to Carrie Hilson to Pink to Kelly Price to Puffy to whoever, so I don't feel like I owe anybody any explanation. But when I'm called a liar, that's why I left the page. It didn't have nothing to do with it. Since we're talking about this, and whatever you felt like I did to you, I tried to call you so we could squash our differences, and I was trying to apologize and see where we could go from there. But I never got a chance to do that because I was hung up on. And I was told whatever I had to say to type it, but I felt like I should have been adult enough to call you, to talk to you about it so we could squash it, so we could unite for the sake of the Yeek culture. But I was not given that chance. I was just kind of pushed to the side, and everybody was telling me I'm being talked about. And to be honest with y'all, I could care less who's talking about me because my resume speaks for itself. I've done my job, and I'm still doing my job, and I continue to do the Yeek era the way I've learned it from A-Dog, from Kool-Aid, from Kane, even from when he came to the thing. So I don't feel like I was treated fair in that situation because, for one, I don't know who Kiva is. I only know that Kiva was the Stray Cats member, and the way she kind of came off on me when we were talking about the whole situation, it was kind of like more aggressive and like, who are you, where you come from, and I felt like I felt like I was being treated a certain type of way because people felt like I had went behind somebody's back, and not one time did I ever really go behind nobody's back, because I actually sent it to you first and I called you first, and from my understanding I was called a liar, and I called you first before I called anybody.
Well,
But that's neither here nor there, because we're here. But on another thing to piggyback on, you sent the email out, but I never got an email.
what do you mean?
About this.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I didn't send her an email. I didn't. I didn't, and I didn't because I didn't want to go through this emotional situation. What I did write was that this initial meeting was for founders, OGs, and Gs, and people could come and observe. You know, so even what we're doing right now, it kind of wasn't planned, because I don't want everybody here. I really didn't want everybody here on dirty draws.
I don't either, because you remember before we had the conference call, I called you personally and told you a lot of this stuff is leaking out. People don't need to be hearing this game or looking at devices. So you know that's my take on it too.
What I want to say is this is a situation that the Yeek Council would be ideal to have worked us through. See, we were left to our own devices with a whole bunch of so-called friends
He say, she say.
who wouldn't say none of us were wrong. They say, I'll take sides. I don't have an opinion. And when you got a whole bunch of people who are great and don't have an opinion, what you have is this. What you have is this. So this is meant to be, well, in my opinion, it should be handled by whatever council is formed. You know, I mean,
Is it done? Is it done?
I'm gonna say this. My opinion on the laws and all of that. I ain't perfect by no stretch. I got a list of flaws longer than chain smoke. But at the same time, when we talk about laws, when I look at the word, I look at my opinion. I don't want to offend anybody's religion or any of that. But Christ came to die for sin, and he was the embodiment of every law. And what he told his disciples was that I give you a new law, which is to love one another. At the end of the day, if what's your name again, man? Mike. Mike. I don't mean nothing fruity by this, but if I love Mike, my love for Mike is going to dictate my laws for him and how I treat him. My love for him or lack of love for him is what's going to dictate the law. The law wasn't able to say, man, Christ had to come and embody the law. The only one that never committed any sin, never went to jail, never got fussing with never did anything wrong. He was the embodiment of the law. So love embodies the law. The love you and I, that I thought we had for one another as we were trying to build for, what, a year and a half, 2 years, trying to do this thing, I was trying to work up to finding a solution for all of these problems, because I understand we can talk about councils and laws and all of that all day long, but at the end of the day, if I have a different agenda from my man here, I can hide behind the law all day long, but if I don't have your best interest at heart, at some point it's going to manifest. You're going to see that I ain't got your best interest at heart.
somebody gonna be able to see.
Somebody going to be able to see. It's going to come to the top. And that's anybody, including me. So when I was talking about the Yeek Council earlier, and it wasn't about me trying to be, Mike came to the spot and he learned a new word. He kept saying anarchy. But it was, I don't want you to think, Mike, so you don't judge me that I'm trying to be an anarchist. It's just the fact of, at the end of the day, I danced because I had love for this. I damn near dropped out of school for this. It was an outlet for me. Okay, I'm just keeping it 100. And I know a lot of people's story is that same thing. I love this dance, so I wasn't tripping about whatever I was missing at school or wherever else, because I was loving this. Eventually went back to school, you know, finished all of that, whatever, but I did this because I loved it. It drew me. I'm right down the street, 5 miles every other day at Thomas' house, right down here in Eastwick, every day, because this was an outlet for me, because of the issues I can tell my story all day long. That's what these documentaries are for. But at the end of the day, what I'm talking about is we can put laws down, but if we're not caring about one another and really trying to foster the best interests of each other, whether they're different projects, whether they're one project, whatever, then at the end of the day, All that stuff is what's gonna leak out on his page, our page, whoever page, whatever. That stuff is gonna leak out because we're not caring about one another. I feel like this conversation, which it should have happened between just y'all two, us three, us four, whatever, but it's happening now because it was not dealt with before. It leaked out on the page because it was not dealt with before. Stuff is gone. We can talk all day about man wants to put laws in place to make man do right, but if man don't love one another, you're not gonna do right. Point blank period. I use this example all the time. They got speed limit laws on the highway, right? 55. Well, if I'm in my brand new Porsche, I want to open it wide open if I don't see no cops, right? Late at night, I don't see no cops, I want to open it up. And I'm not really going to be tripping about that law too tough, am I? But if my kids are in the car with me, I don't care if I'm in a testimony Lamborghini. Why? Because I love them. Because I don't want to put them in a situation where I'm going to flip that car over and kill my kids.